Hey friends, this is Allie with Allie Answers. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. If you would take just a second and give me a thumbs up or subscribe or both, and that will help the algorithm so that more people will see these videos. I'm here to help people and I want more people to see them. It is hard to talk about end of life and about choices with those that we love. Whether your loved one is healthy and hale and you are just basically around to make sure that they have everything they need, or you are caring for someone with a progressive disease, having a conversation about what they want at end of life is really important, but no one wants to do it. So let's talk about why we avoid these conversations and what can be gained. One of the main fears that most people have is that if they bring up the topic of end of life, that they are going to cause their loved one to believe that they're ready for them to leave, that they're ready for them to go. I was speaking to a man the other day. His wife has cancer. She is not doing well, but he has a very hard time bringing up hospice, for example, because he doesn't want her to think that he's ready for her to go, that he's tired of the fight, that he wants her to stop fighting or stop using chemo. And so it is a very hard thing for him to broach. So one of the issues people have is the idea that they are going to inherit money or inherit things or property, and they don't want their loved one to think that they're in a hurry to get those things. It is an understandable fear that we would put off these conversations for those reasons. But I think we can also say, look, I love you and I am not in any hurry for you to go. However, it's important to me that you have the help that you need and that you have the support that you need and that your end of life look the way you want it to look. And we can't make sure that happens if we don't have the conversation. There are caregivers that are worried about having that conversation because they are worried that they are not going to agree with what their loved one wants. For example, if you have a loved one living with you and you know that at some point you are going to be placing them in a community or in a nursing home, you're worried that they're going to say, never put me in a nursing home, never put me in a place. I always want to be here at the house. Some adult children have worries that their parents do not understand some of the end of life measures and they don't really want to open up the conversation because they don't want to kind of get in the weeds. Too many details, too many medical things that they about being able to explain properly, whatever the situation. Some of us are afraid that our loved ones may decide that they want to die at home, and maybe we don't feel qualified to be there for that. Maybe we feel that that is not our strength, and we don't know how we're going to be able to make that happen. One of my good friends recently lost her father, and she had told me in the past, I don't think that there's any way that I can keep him here and take care of him at the end. When it comes time for the end, he's going to have to go somewhere. I hear this a lot from families, but with the assistance of hospice and the support of the chaplain and social worker and additional help from home care workers, from agencies, and with additional help from families, people are actually able to make that happen. So I want to allay your fear and let you know that even if the person does ask for something you feel unqualified for, there are people around who can help you make that happen. The end of life for your loved one does not look exactly like what you thought it would look like. You might be able to give them certain things they wanted. For example, perhaps they are going to be in an assisted living when it's time for them to pass. Some people request that they have their family pets with them. And while that may seem impossible if someone's in a community or in a facility, that is not always the case. Many times you can bring your family pet even to a nursing home and even to a hospital. The other reason that we put off talking about end-of-life issues is that it makes us uncomfortable. We're faced with our own mortality. When we consider our loved ones leaving us, that is a painful thing. But when we also consider that if they are going to pass, we are going to pass, as well as all the other people that we love and care about, it's a very difficult conversation. But I promise you that the most uncomfortable is not knowing what your loved one wanted, not knowing that they wanted to be at home or that they wanted a pet nearby or that they wanted certain kind of music being played in their final hours. If we don't have this information, that is really uncomfortable because we are just basically making decisions on our own for someone else. So while it is uncomfortable to have that conversation, I feel like it's way worse to be in the end stretch and to not be able to give the person what they want because we don't know what that is. I've talked about a great document in a previous video, and I'm going to link it down below. It is called 5 Wishes. It is a great way to sit down with someone that you love and talk about what you would like to see at the end of life. It can be for you, it can be for a spouse, it can be for a parent. It is helpful for siblings and anyone else that you care about. Here's some things that you want to make sure you mention or ask. If there is no way for your situation to be turned around, if there is no hope for sustainability of life, do you want life support? And that means, do you want to be vented? If, for example, you have COVID, do you want to be put on a vent or ECMO machine? The person's age and physical condition and mental condition should be taken into consideration for these things, of course. Did you know that if someone performs CPR on someone who is very fragile and someone who is elderly, that many times that bones in the chest are actually broken and can pierce the lung? Sometimes we think that CPR can bring someone back like it does on television. But if the person has a degenerative disease, if they are passing away from dementia, for example, and their body is wasting away, bringing them back with CPR is going to probably not be successful. As a matter of fact, it will just usually mean that they are going to have a more painful existence until they pass away again. That's something that's hard to talk about, but it has to be mentioned. If you don't know that, you can't make the best choice. It's important as caregivers to educate ourselves as much as we can so that we can show love and compassion to those that we are caring for. End of life care, conversations about ceremony, conversations about celebration of life or burial, whether or not the person wants to be cremated, what they want done with their ashes. All of those things are difficult conversations, but it is so much more difficult if we don't have the answers going into something that is inevitably going to happen. Being brave is being scared and doing it anyway. So I suggest that you be brave and have these hard conversations while you still can. It's a gift that you're giving yourself and the person that you love. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing this channel with people who can be helped by the content. There's so much information. Just take a look below. Have a good day. Bye-bye.